What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And yes, you are seeing it correctly. It's the one and only Ash, and he is here to chat with us today. Ash, how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for having me. I always love coming on your channel. We're talking some relics today, man.
Yeah, baby, we're talking some relics. We actually just did a collab on Ash, a collab on Ash's channel, by the way. So make sure to check that out. I'm gonna link it down in the description below. I don't have to say give your love to Ash. He's the freaking goat of Raid. But yeah, we're having him on the channel here to talk a little relic action. Yeah, kind of pick some of our, I think, really just our favorite relics currently out in the game right now. They've added some more relics, so I'm not 1,000,000% familiar with some of the newer ones. So I think this would be kind of a fun exercise to see what's in the game and what's coming out soon, right? So super stoked.
Yeah, man. I mean, they add all the live arena relics as well. I have a lot of strong opinions on all of those, but yeah, they're adding more as well with the new faction wars. So, or I guess siege relics are coming as well at some point. So man, there's going to be relics all over the place soon enough.
Never-ending supply of relics, and I guess important to ask. Like you like relics overall, right, Ash? You're a fan of relics?
Love relics. The only things I hate is I absolutely. I'm going to say this now contractually on every video that I talk about relics. Plarium needs to add a freaking filter for equipped gemstones because gemstone management is atrocious. It's ridiculous. It should never have been brought into the game where we can't even sort the gemstones that we have equipped.
Yeah, I'm here on the gemstone thing, and I have absolutely no idea what gemstones are equipped and on what relics. So yeah, they got to do that now. They got to fix that right now.
That's insane. Like I can't even look at the gemstones. Are you serious, man? Are you serious? And the longer they go without addressing this, the more obvious it will be for everybody, right? Like,
yes,
at first it doesn't start that acute of a pain because like, okay, I have 3 relics, I got it. But then the more you get, it's like I'm hesitant to even put a gemstone in a relic now because I'm afraid I won't be able to find it later on, you know?
Dude, I have it happen to me all the time because I've accumulated a decent amount of decent or good relics.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what's in them. I have no clue.
You know how it is. Like sometimes if you're going to use a champion on a Hydra team or whatever, you just throw a relic just for stats only on them, a rare relic, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you put a gemstone in it, you're like, I might never find this bad boy ever again. You know,
it's gone to the ether. So
it might be, man. It might be.
We are 100% in agreement.
Overall. I think they're really hard to get, which doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is they're almost impossible to upgrade fully. You know, like you just can't get those basalts at all.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's so hard to get these things upgraded. It drives me crazy. That's definitely another one, a big thing where it's like, just give us a better way to get basalt. Give us a better way to upgrade this stuff. You know, and honestly, I prefer basalt over having to upgrade every tiny little relic as well, just for the UI experience. If it's easier to just plug in a basalt. So I really want to wait for us to get more basalt and not necessarily more relics, because even the low level ones, you still have to upgrade, and that just takes time. So just make it easy on us. Give us like 50 basalt, preferably 4 and 5 star, and we're good to go. I think that's all really. A video over. Okay, that's all we really wanted here.
That's it, baby. That's it.
Basalt.
Drock, it's been a pleasure, man.
Great having you on, Ash. We really covered the bases here.
The shortest Drock and Ash collab of all time.
We haven't
got to the video yet, have we?
We haven't even got to the video. So speaking of talking about relics here, I mean, some really powerful ones that are out here, especially in the mythical realm. Do you have, let's just kick it off right at the top. Do you have a relic that you consider to be your overall favorite at the moment? Like, it could be anything. It could be rare. It could be mythical. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I just got my hands on my first mythical relic.
Oh, baby. Okay.
Very lucky. And I think it's probably my best relic, but it's not my favorite. My favorite, I think, is actually a legendary.
Ooh.
And I think my favorite relic right now that I have is Wand of Submission.
Yeah.
I have a couple other contenders in there, you know, as well. One of them being an epic. But, man, Wand of Submission is money because the effect is very good, especially in the arena, which we're both fans of. And you get the speed as the second stat as well. So, like, the stats are on point and the effect is amazing. It's a 25% chance at base level. Can get up to, what, 50% chance to reflect stun, sleep, fear, true fear, blah, blah, blah. But sheep being one of them. Back at the producer, which is so strong, so powerful on so many champions. So I really love it for the speed stat and for the effect.
This is funny enough my favorite one as well. I think this is
Okay, it is
the
not
perfect
shocking
pick.
actually, right?
Yeah, right. You wouldn't think because like there are other relics I think that maybe can potentially be better overall, and this is only a legendary instead of a mythical. But
Yeah.
I really hope more and more people get this relic so that sheep becomes less of a problem in arena. That's my hope. Is that this will start to really make people not want to put sheep on. I don't think that's going to be the
Mhm.
case, to be completely honest, because it's still so powerful, and even a 50% chance is worth it because it can just win a fight for you automatically. But you know, the sheep hater in me can't help but enjoy the wand. And then also, anytime I do live arena streams, I'll usually just start screaming, get wanded. Anytime somebody reflects back, and that just makes me smile, knowing that I,
Right? It really does. And then when it happens to you, even to me, right? I have them,
uh,
right? Like I have a couple of them, very lucky to get a couple of wands, and I use them all the time. But whenever it happens to me, I'm always like, what just happened? You know?
yeah, like what's going on? I have
Yeah.
no clue what's going on anymore in arena. Like, I guess I
Yeah,
got
right.
wanded.
Because you don't know what relic they have.
No
Yeah.
clue, no clue. But
Uh,
great choice. This is a great
do you
choice.
have a favorite epic?
Do I have a favorite epic? You know, I actually do have a favorite epic. It's for me, it's got to be a Rethi Coronet. A Rethi Coronet, man.
Okay, okay, good choice.
Have you
Yeah,
pulled this one yet or not?
I do. Yeah, I have this one, and I have it on my Toshiro for like Chimera and stuff.
Yes, dude. This is such a game changing relic for PVE stuff, and
It
I'm
is.
lucky enough where not only did I pull an Arethi Coronet, I actually by some miracle pulled a Boss Slayer gemstone. So one of the mythical gemstones that gives
Ooh, I don't even know
10%
what it
more
is off the top of my
damage.
head. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
10% more damage to bosses.
Nice.
So it's a sick gemstone. But on this specific relic, it's nuts, dude. My Hydra damage, my Chimera damage skyrocketed when I got this relic on. And what I really love about it isn't just the fact that it's a raw damage increase every time you're placing a debuff, it's that it doesn't expire. It's the whole battle. You get a damage increase, unlike something like Scroll of the Unseen, which also gives you damage increase but resets after every turn. Nope. Arethi Coronet, the whole freaking battle. It is game changing. If I could have 4 or 5 of these, I would absolutely be jumping for joy.
No, I 100%. That would be my number two. Actually, it'd probably be my number one in terms of like the direct impact that it has on my account. To your point.
Yeah, it's such a strong relic, such a strong relic. It's not my favorite relic because, like I said, Wand of Submission is kind of how I roll as well. But it's
Yep.
definitely up there in terms of its impact, and it's crazy because it's only an epic. Like you have a much better chance of getting it.
I know. It's really cool that there's actually some really solid epics in rares, frankly.
Yeah.
Like my favorite epic, and again, I'm not saying most powerful, just my favorite is the Orb of Transfiction. Fiction.
Oh, okay, okay.
Do you have that guy? Do you have one of those?
Have it. I do actually have it. Oh, this is a sneaky one. I like this.
It's
Why
a
is it your
sneaky
fave?
one. I love it. It also has speed, but it's a third stat, so good luck ever seeing that stat.
Yeah.
But it has it. But I love it. It's a 10% chance to steal a random buff when attacking a target. It can't be resisted and occurs once per skill. You can get it all the way up to a 35% chance, again, if you can level it up, or at least a 20% chance fairly easily. Man, I just love, I love, like, I don't know, Mighty Uko's passive, right? It's not as good, but like kind of a built-in buff steal mechanic always happening. I really enjoy that. I like the steals, man.
I kind of think this is an underrated one in some ways because I had this, funny enough, on my Marius before I had a Wand of
Okay, I had it on
Submission.
my Marius.
Yeah, and I was surprised at how many times I stole Stoneskin, even on a base level Orb of Transfiction, where he was built in
Yeah.
Stoneskin, and suddenly I'd be like, oh, his Stoneskin didn't disappear. What happened? And I was like, wait
Yeah.
a second, he just stole Stoneskin. Like, that's freaking incredible. That's so powerful. So
Yeah, you're gonna get on those AoEs, like on AoE A1, that's exactly similar to you. I put it on Marius. You're just gonna get a lot more steals than you think. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I really think this is a little bit of an underrated relic. I'm right there with you. Okay, cool. So you got the epics here. What about the mythicals, man? What about the
Okay, yeah, now
mythicals?
the good stuff, man.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
good stuff.
talk
You
to
don't
me
have
about
any mythicals, right?
I do not. I don't have a mythical relic yet. I've been really unlucky on getting relic crafting materials. I don't
Yeah.
know. When you said you have a mythical, right? Is it
I
correct?
just got a mythical. I don't think I'm gonna announce it because I haven't released my video. Maybe I will. When are you gonna put this live? Not that anybody really gives a crap.
This isn't going to be live for like another probably 4 or 5 days.
All right. Well, I got a hollowed hilt. A
Oh,
hollowed hilt.
okay. Oh,
I got it through my live arena season
this-
material. It was my first chance at a mythical, my first chance at the mythical mats at least. And I got it. So
Wow.
20% chance.
So this came off of legendary materials then, is that correct?
No, it came off of the mythical materials from the season of Live Arena, the highest award that you get.
The highest. Oh, because you've been grinding so much Live Arena, you've
I've been
already
grinding
gotten that
so much.
chest.
I think it's 1400. I want to say.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's where. So you got the 20% chance then to get it. Then is that correct?
Yeah. So I was guaranteed at least a legendary. So I was excited about it, and I hit record on the I wasn't intending to make a video out of it, but I'm like, hey, if I get a mythical, maybe I'll throw it up on YouTube. I don't know. And I did. So I got Hollowed Hilt, which is actually, I think that the ability that it has is one of the weaker mythicals, maybe, but it's one of the S tier strongest mythicals because speed is the main stat. Maxed out 24 speed is insane.
That is. What does the fervor buff even do? I don't even remember.
It gives a 10% extra damage to the person with the fervor buff and 10% damage mitigation to the person with the fervor buff.
Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. I would kind of agree with you that it's not overall one of the strongest effects, but 24 speed, dude. 24 speed in a speed meta in arena. That's pretty freaking good. Congratulations. How you must have been stoked. I can't wait to see that video when it comes out.
I was like, I was pretty in shock with the whole thing. And it's pretty anticlimactic when you get a mythical or a legendary for that matter, or any when you craft anything. Like, dude, I kind of want the bells and the whistles of like when you get a mythical champion, because it's feels like it's even harder to get these things sometimes. It's not really, but you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely hard to get some of these mythical relics for sure because of how hard it is to get the crafting materials.
Exactly.
I'd love to see the screen just splits open and the hilt comes down,
right?
Or maybe it's like the sword and the stone where suddenly
give me something good, man.
Vibrating out of the stone.
It's like hard to get excited about, like pop up, little square.
Congrats. Congrats, man.
Anyway, thanks. That's not my favorite though. I think that, I'll let you say first, but I think that in a weird way, it's like tied for my second favorite because there's only two relics in the entire game that have speed as the first stat. And that is the Crystallid of Rebirth from the clan group that I don't think anybody has, or I don't know. What's the deal with these things? You can get them from anywhere, but it's a higher chance in a clan group. Is that what it is? Or
I don't even frankly understand this. I have no clue. It's like, I know these are hard to get currently, right? Like you don't have a lot. I think you can
get them though, because like, for example, I opened Live Arena mats and I got a standard. Well, what I'm assuming is from a Live Arena mats, I can get either Live Arena or standard, but not from clan group, event group, or chimera group. I
think that's how it works. We have a 50% chance to get from the actual whatever it's specific to, and then 50% chance to get just a standard one.
Yes. So then no one has Crystallid or whatever the hell it is of Rebirth. Then
I don't think so. At least not yet. So
funny. Anyway, that in the one I just got, the Hollowed Hilts rather, are the only two that have speed as the main stat. So I think they're like in a way tied for the second best, but I think there's a clear first best relic and it's not even close. Do you agree? What do you think it is?
Well, it's funny enough, I actually would probably pick the Crystallid of Rebirth if I were picking. I know which one you're talking about, and I'll let you say it, but for me, like we'll both say it at the same time. No, 24 speed is nuts, but then extra turn when reviving. Oh my god, bro! Like that could be so filthy on someone like Galathier potentially, where like you're in a full pinpoint set, fast Galathier. Maybe he everybody else dies, he reses, but then he also potentially heals. There are so many champions where that could be absolutely god tier OP. Even like someone like Marichka. Right. Where like you get to heal afterwards. I mean,
right.
That for me, that's
you're right.
That's
and I didn't even realize. Frankly, I haven't spent enough time looking at all these. I didn't realize you could book it up to or not book it, but level up to 100%.
Yeah, that's why it's so broken.
I guess I just looked at it and I assumed it would be like in 5% increments or something.
You would think, right? But this one is all the way up to 100%, which is just absolutely nuts when you think about how strong Revive can be. So this, for me, this is probably my overall favorite. But I'm gonna get. Should we say it at the same time? Let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Chrono Cube. Yes. Okay. So this would be the other one that is absolutely busted because this also books up to 100% chance to take 2 turns in a row.
It's like basically like a perma. Well, not a perma, but like once per battle, but you just get an extra turn.
Get an extra turn right up front.
2 turns.
2 turns right off the bat. And again, this is another thing that you could make what this would be sick on? Funny enough, this would be sick on somebody like Gizmac. think about it. On
Yeah,
Gizmac,
more extra turns. Yeah.
well, extra turns because
Well, can it proc?
His,
I'm sorry, but can it proc on an extra turn ability? Like, I hope not.
well, so it's currently, or it was bugged, where you basically just get infinite turns with it, essentially, where you take an extra turn, then take another extra turn, then take like
Shocker.
another extra turn. Because I know Scratch did a video on it because he actually pulled this. He pulled a
Oh my
Chrono
God.
Cube. Luckiest dude ever.
What a lucky duck, man.
Yeah, lucky duck. But so I would love to throw it on a Gizmac because you could hit somebody with an A2, burn off all their stone skin, get the extra turn, switch into his second form, boom. Just cook him. You know what I mean? Like, I think this actually has more potential in some ways on damage dealers than it does on anything else, especially specific damage dealers that can do stuff to stone skin. Another great example of this would even be someone like Marius, potentially, you know what I mean? Where you hypothetically could just, launch into taking an extra turn, right off the bat and just keep cycling through his AoEs. But this one is broken, dude. Literally and also figuratively.
It's a weird one. I really want to see how it like. Do you know the answer to that question? Like, for example, so if like a Gizmac, if he gets an extra turn ability, like let's just say a self-buffing ability where you get an extra turn, right? Marius, let's use Marius. Does it have so it just won't proc on his A3, or do you think it might?
So this is where I'm a little confused too, because it was bugged and like it just kept giving people extra turns left and right. But so in my head, the way that I would feel that it would work, and maybe I'm wrong and maybe it won't be as strong as I think, but the way I feel it should work is like, okay, it procs initially, right? So like, let's say Gizmac burns people off with his A2. That's his first turn. He gets an extra turn then guaranteed. You know what I mean? Which then allows him to take his extra turn, where it, you know what I mean? Like
then he loses a turn. Where does that loss come from?
But he got a bonus extra turn, so therefore he still takes a turn. What's the math on?
Yeah, does it negate the extra turn? Oh man, I'm confused. But we'll have to see someday. Never when I get one.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to know, like, or I just want to hope. And maybe it's too broken, but I want to hope that I can switch him into that second form and then drop the nuke after I've annihilated someone's stone skin. And then I'm fine with him having to skip a turn after that. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, you can skip a turn, after he's like fully exhausted his turns. There's a lot to figure out here, guys, as you can tell. We haven't had a chance to test these things. So,
I got another one for you that's really interesting. It's a new one. It's the Infernal Polytope. I think, and that's in the Live Arena group. I think that I saw a couple review videos and everybody basically said that all of these are pretty trashy, but I disagree on the Mythicals. Like, I think this is very compelling. Has speed as a second stat, which again, I love. Fully resets the cooldown of all the wearer's skills whenever their HP drops below 15%. Like, what a strong move to have on a reviver, or I mean, especially a reviver like this on like a Star Sage or any champion with like a preemptive death mechanic already,
Yeah. Well, also you think about it, when you get it fully booked up here, it's what, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40% really
40%,
isn't.
That's
not bad. Like, if you have a fully leveled version of this, you're still getting speed, which is also great. And it's a secondary stat instead of the third one. So you get a little bit more and it's a little bit easier to book up. But 40% HP drop, that's really not, like, you're not necessarily going to get killed right afterwards. That could be absolutely broken as well. I agree.
And how about, like, I mean, maybe I'm just being silly here, but like, how about putting this on like like, I don't know, like Nogdar or like champions that have, or maybe putting Swift Parry with this. Like, I don't know. There's some interesting combos you could have,
I love your Nogdar love, by the way.
I can't get through a video without giving Nogdar
you gotta get a little Nogdar.
One day, bro, he'll be the man.
He's coming back, bro. He's back in the meta.
But you can sacrifice your own HP with a Nogdar and reset your cooldowns through the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
This is a really interesting one too. I actually think this could be insanely strong.
Or you could use who's that guy, Aragaz, the orc faction Unity Lord?
Oh yeah.
He like has an ability which does 50% damage or something to an ally. So you could like basically manufacture the trigger of the cooldowns,
Yeah, that's actually that's valid. Where is that? What's damage loss equal to 50% of the target's current HP? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the Death Dealer is interesting too. If you were to pull this one, wearer's attacks will always be critical hits, but the wearer receives 200% more damage.
This is
So
so
that's weird,
interesting.
huh? Like I guess you just go 500% crit damage.
just just literally go absolutely insane nuker build. You just don't care. My only question with this is, does this work against reaction? You know what I
I
mean?
know, right?
Like, I don't know if you guys know, but one of the things that sometimes I'll give Plarium a hard time for is they'll write a skill out, and the best example of this is Quintus, where you'll read it and you'll be like, oh, Quintus, it strips all buffs and can't be blocked or resisted. And then you'll actually go take him into arena and be like, wait a second, why am I not stripping Stone Skin? Well, because even though it says it can't be blocked or resisted, it actually can be blocked. So that's like the biggest question for me is does this apply to every scenario? Because yeah, this could be a really sick relic if you don't have to build with any crit rate at all, and you are guaranteed to crit even against reaction,
Reaction, yeah.
or even
Yeah.
against skills that maybe potentially, like for example, Harima, who doesn't allow crits from demon spawn. Does this supersede that, and now she allows you to crit?
Yeah, relics have so many unanswered questions. We almost need to get a game designer here to ask us. Like, there's so I find myself like we were talking about this off air. Like, I'm DMing Saf or whatever half the time, being like, "Hey, bro, how does this work? Like, how does this interact with this blessing or this? You know, like, it's interesting. Or how does this interact with this passive? You know, like I feel like a lot of relics have like just open ended questions because we just don't know. You know?
Yeah, and it's so funny because I told you that I do the exact same thing.
Yes.
I DM Saf as well, and I'm like, "Could you please explain how this works from a coding perspective?" And then he'll give me an answer almost
Exactly.
immediately or within an hour, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Saf. I really appreciate it." But
Exactly. I was hitting him up. What was I hitting him up on? Like just a day or two ago. I was like, okay, so uh aspect of Siroth, how does that interact with Siegfried's passive? You know, like does it trigger the passive or does it proc before the passive? You know?
yeah, how does it work? Actually, I don't know.
I don't know. He's gonna look into it.
He's gonna look into it. This is great.
I could just test it, but I figured I'd ask Saf, you know?
Big
But yeah,
shout
I
out to
mean,
Saf. Thanks, Saf, for
I'll
explaining
just
how the
ask
game
Saf. Shout out
works.
to Saf, man. HH Gaming Network. Check it out on YouTube. But yeah, man, those are some of my favorites and most wanted relics out there.
What do you think? One final question here. What do you think is the overall worst mythical? Like the worst, the one that if you,
Ooh.
because they're so hard to get, and if you got, and like there's only what, like 6 of them right now, or I think 6, 8. There's 8
Yeah,
of them.
2, 4,
8. So
6,
if
7, 8, 8.
yeah, if you pulled like this mythical, that you'd be sad. I have an opinion on this, funny enough. But what do you think is the worst of the bunch at the moment?
Hmm. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say maybe Stormcaller. What do you think?
So this is interesting. So I am gonna say I was between two. I'm gonna say Murder Fang. Murder Fang for me. Only because
Okay.
it books up to what, 30, 35,
Murder
40,
Fang is what one again? Let me
60%
see.
chance. It's in the clan group, and it's a 60% chance to deal bonus damage when using default skills. And the bonus damage is either
Oh
free.
yeah, you're right.
This one to me seems really underpowered.
The damage is not.
It's not.
Doesn't seem that significant at all, considering it's a
Also,
mythical.
it's only on default skills. I could see this being good for something like Hydra, where you have ally attack potentially. Like, although ally attack isn't as good in Hydra as it used to be, but I could see this being good because you're hitting someone with an A1 over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But compared to some of the other absolutely busted things that some of these mythicals do, I'm kind of like, it just doesn't seem that great. I don't know. Am I
I'm gonna
crazy?
ask you a dumb question, man. What
Let me
does
hear it.
Stormcall buff do?
Oh, God, what is it? Hold on. It does. Let me look this up. It does something with damage, if I remember correctly.
It makes
does,
sense that it would. The reason I picked it is mainly just because of the crit damage and the attack, you know, which isn't bad, but like I feel like not the most desirable, but then I couldn't find it in the
Okay, here it is. Yeah, each Stormcall stack increases the damage dealt by a champion by 5%. I knew it was something like that. You can have a maximum of 5 Stormcall stacks, and then when attacking with 5 Stormcall stacks, you place a stun debuff and remove the stacks, and then you can't resist the stun debuff. So it gives you like potentially up to 25% increased damage at its max, but either way, every stack gives you an extra 5% damage.
That's actually pretty cool, especially in PvE and longer battles, and you can get that up
Yeah.
to 100%.
Yeah.
100% chance storm call when they land a critical hit.
And the best
So
thing about that is it's on every ability. So it's not just on default skills, it's on every single attack.
I was going to ask, and also if you have an AoE and you hit 4 targets, do you have an independent 20% chance to get the storm call on every hit, or is it once per skill? Do you know?
I think so, because it reads like that, right? It says whenever they land a critical hit, it doesn't say only per skill. Again, this is us trying to decipher Plarium's. You know, you just never really know until you test it out. But
yeah,
I would think that it would, that you would potentially get, like, on Hydra, 4 different storm call buffs.
Yeah.
Immediately, and then the next time you go in for an attack, you're dealing an increased 20%.
That's actually pretty cool. I take it back. I think you were right on the call out there.
The murder thing.
Are you the same as me, where sometimes you go into these arena battles nowadays, and like half the buffs, you're like, whether it's magma shield or fervor or storm call, and you're like, what the hell is that? You know, like,
I literally just
the buff icon is different. You're not used to seeing it, you know?
This just happened on my stream earlier this week, Ash, where I was facing someone who had a magma shield, and I'm like,
magma shield?
What the hell is that? And what does it do? Can somebody tell me? And thankfully someone in the chat was like,
that thing?
It's magma shield and it does damage back to you. And I was like, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Because I had absolutely no clue. I hadn't seen it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was the same. Well, the first time I saw all 3 of those, I'm like, what did I miss something? What are these? I'm like, oh yeah, mythical relics. They're a thing, huh?
That's right. That's right. So yeah, I'm definitely in that group as well. So I think that kind of covers it. Anything else you want to shout out? Any other relics that kind of tickle your fancy? What you got?
Yeah, like 2 seconds on I mean, everybody knows this by now, but a journal in the Krotos is I think, like I was saying about the epics, there's some really compelling offerings for rares as well. Journal in the Krotos is like, it's money, man. I mean, I use that all over the place. Molten Death Bell, I'm a big fan of, on the right champion.
Molten.
Yep. Cat's Gaze was really solid, obviously. I'm sure a lot of people use it,
Yeah, I got that on a couple damage dealers. It's just, it sucks we're not going to have a chance to get any more of these, though. I'm kind of like, that's rough.
Do you think? Yeah, you're right. They're gone forever, I would assume, because
I would assume because that's
specific to
that event, right? That event,
Alice event. Yeah.
Did you?
But I heard there's going to be another big event coming, so we'll see what it is.
It looks like it because they've got so many hidden here. How many Cat's Gaze did you get off of all those events?
It was during my stupid no spend month, bro. So I got 1.
You're welcome.
I don't know who to blame for that one.
Whoops. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video.
Yeah, there we go.
Congrats, Ash.
It was like, I know no one's going to want to hear this, but it was like the worst experience. You loved it. You're like, it gives me new perspective, and it's awesome. I'm like, this sucks.
It was so great. It was somehow I still ended up with 4 of them, by the way. I got really lucky on relic crafting materials where they popped out of a couple of.
It just shows that I just can't commit. I just suck at the game,
The RNG, if you don't have good RNG, then you clearly suck at Raid.
But you know what, though? You know what I did learn, though, from that event is, and this is like, it's such an obvious thing to say, but I think it bears mentioning, is that when these events that give relic material happen, or I should say, not even events, tournaments, like the in-game tournaments that like, obviously it's not feasible to go for all of them, but if you see those windows of opportunity to snag some mats, some material, like, I learned a little bit too late, but I learned that, like, no, I'm going to go hard anywhere I can, anywhere that makes sense for your account, because it's so hard to get this stuff, and you need it, if not just to upgrade other stuff, so I'm really, now I treat relic material and mats and crafting stuff, I treat it like haste glyphs. Like, if I see it, I'm going for it,
100%, dude. I'm right there with you, because this stuff is it's just hard to get good pieces in this, and the vast majority of things that I summon are not like usable relics or stuff that's good. And again, like, anything that's limited time, I think the biggest thing I've learned with Raid is, and really what taught me this, was Fina, where that champion came out, and we talked a little bit about this another like one of the other days, but like, I didn't think Fina was good. I really did not think she was going to be game changing. And then a new game mode comes around that I didn't know about, that they knew about, of course. They plan all this stuff months, years in advance, And surprise, surprise, Fina is the absolute best champion for the game mode. And now I'm at a massive competitive disadvantage. And I get that this is like, oh, Drog, you got plenty of stuff on your account. And I don't disagree with you at all if you guys, you're still here watching this. But when you're in like the ultra whale clans, there are expectations on you to perform a certain way. There, like, legitimately, there are expectations of you must deliver certain point spreads in every event.
Did you get a talking to during your no spend month? Was that 2 months? Was that difficult?
I actually did. Where it wasn't even because of no spending. Honest to God, I fell asleep one night. I was exhausted, and I missed. I think I missed a chimeric here. I missed like one hydra key or something like that.
Oh shit!
And legitimately, it was like, hey man, it's time for you to find another clan. And I was like, oh fuck.
Oh like, no.
And I was like, hey, listen, I promise I'm going to do better about this. Give me one more shot. And they were gracious enough. And look, I was the one who fucked up. It was on me. I wasn't the one holding up my end of the bargain. But if you're in a high-end clan,
yeah,
and that was actually funny
you
enough,
signed
Ash,
up for that. Yeah,
you signed up for that. And like that was the reason why I ended up leaving Sacred Panda in the first place. Was it was like, hey, dude, your Hydra scores aren't where they need to be. We really want to be competitive in this game mode. We need you to step it up, or to improve this stuff. And at the high end, having stuff like Cat's Gazes or stuff like Arethi Coronet, like it really, really, really matters. And so I think that's maybe to the average raid player. And hey, listen, if you're saving your money, congratulations. You're a smart person, right? Yeah, you're winning at life. Look at your bank account and smile. But if you're someone who's trying to compete in the high-end raid scene, the average player may not understand the level of pressure that is put on you to do well in some of these events. And maybe some clans that aren't like top 10 are the same way, but like if you're in a top clan, they don't screw around and you absolutely must perform. So
yeah. No doubt, man. I mean, my clan's somewhere in the middle, but like we've had to part ways with some longtime people that we actually really loved, but like, some people, your interest in the game kind of wane. Everybody's like that, right? It kind of wanes from time to time, and you just can't let everybody else who's also signed up for that down, necessarily, out of fairness, I guess.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
man, I didn't know I was touching on a sore spot there. We get a little after hours podcast here after Relics.
I don't mind.
I don't kicked.
Kicked again. Like, I can't wait till eventually they'll boot me out of the content creator program, and that'll be my my thumbnail. Kicked again, because my opinions are too spicy sometimes. But no, I don't mind talking about it because that's kind of how I do my thing. Like I'm completely honest about this stuff, and it's one of those things where, especially because this was my fault. I was the one that let other people down, and I needed to like step it up, no matter what's going on in your personal life. Now, to be fair, like there's always like exemptions and stuff that's more important, and don't get me wrong, personal life way more important than raid, but you gotta step up for your boys, or you at least have to communicate. And that was the thing that I really learned. So yeah, long story short, big thank you to my clan for giving me another chance. And hey, I improved my Hydra scores, and we just went 3 for 3 this week, Ash, where we won Hydra Clash, we won Chimera Clash, and we also beat Mad in the siege battle. So, and that was certainly not easy because they are extremely.
Man. Were you guys considered the underdogs going in, or was it an even match, or like what do you think? What did Vegas have it at?
That's a great question. I think we were probably slight underdogs because they'd beaten us the last 2 times. We'd beaten them the 2 times before that, and then the first time we matched up, we tied. But overall, I think
so it was pretty neck and neck there.
It's pretty neck and neck. But if you were an odds maker in Vegas, you would have called us the underdogs because the 2 most recent battles went their way. But funny enough, this actually ties into what we did on your channel, which I won't spoil, but it ties into how they determine victory conditions. Because the thing that happens in these battles every single time, Ash, is it's a tie every time, and it comes down to victory conditions.
And so turn counts?
Well, it's not even turn counts. We happen to defeat more enemy teams. This is where it doesn't make any sense, because we set less defenses. that's what determines the win. So go watch the video we did on your channel.
Then I guess.
So
right?
they're gonna address it, but
or they're going to fix it.
I love how this became a chat about everything beyond just Relics.
I have like a million other questions too, but maybe we can save that for our next.
There you go. That'll be our next collab. The podcast we're going to put on.
By the workings of the very, very elite tier Supreme Club clans.
Anytime you want to talk about it, man, I am always down. So Dude,
Sounds
thank you
great,
so
man. Well, hey,
much.
thanks for having me on, man. It was a good conversation as always.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Really appreciate you jumping on. Guys, make sure to go give some love to Ash. Of course, everything linked down below in the description. And other than that, we'll catch you on a video soon. It's been Big Papa Drock and Ash, and we're out.